Let me be honest. Firstly, I have to tell you, I have to take a salary cut of more than 75% to be in this
More than
industry.
75%.
More than 75%. But, while I was at work, in most cases, I used to think about horses. Not that I didn't do well as a chemical engineer. Started as an operator, and then I ended up being a shift process controller at NEMPEC here in Tissue Riverview. But still, there was still that thing in me. But if you wake up every day, it doesn't feel like you're going to work. It's like it's more like it's a hobby. It's not, for me, I don't look at it as a career.
The man on my right is a licensed trainer. He's a horseman of the highest order. He knows the ins and outs of horses. He's lived most of his life around horses. The man is a licensed trainer, as I said, and he needs horses to train. It gives me great pleasure to sit today and talk to a fine gentleman by the name of Sboniso Ngcobo. Did I get that right?
Yes, 100%.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Welcome to the podcast, In the Box Seat podcast, Sboniso.
Thank you so much.
Affectionately known as Bo. I've introduced you as Sboniso Ngcobo, but now I'm going to call you Bo because everybody knows you as Bo.
Yes, that's correct. And you know why they normally call me Bo?
Why is that?
Actual fact, from the name Sboniso,
Yes.
we take that B, that letter B,
Right.
on that, then with an O. So we shorten it Bo so that everybody can call me without pronouncing wrong.
I thought that it was maybe when you do that sports bow and arrow.
Bow and arrow.
I thought maybe you were a good man with a bow
No,
and arrow.
I never tried that, not at all. No.
Welcome. Lovely to have you sitting with me today at the Summerfeld Clubhouse. It's still sort of summer. We're not into winter just yet.
No,
but
that's
there's
true.
a fire going here. There's a fire to keep us warm. It's quite a chilly day, isn't it? The weather's confused at the moment.
To be pretty honest, in a single day, you find out that it feels warm, and then during the course of the day, it feels a bit cold. In actual fact, but if you work outside with us there at the track, you'll find out that it's quite chilly because there's wind outside. At the clubhouse, at least we're inside the house, so that's why it feels like we're a bit warm, yeah.
I opened up the podcast with the following words. A man who is a licensed trainer, who knows horses, who needs horses and who needs support. So let's jump straight into that, and then
Okay.
we'll go back, because I want to hear from you. You work as an assistant trainer to Tony Riverland at the moment, is that right?
That's correct.
But we'll come back to that again. You're actually a fully licensed, fully fledged trainer.
That's correct. In actual, I did write an exam for the trainer's license, but I haven't pulled out my license as yet. Although at the moment I do have one horse under Tony Riverland because I work as his assistant trainer at the moment. Yeah.
So, if we go to the jockey club and we ask them to give us a record of all the trainers, the name Sboniso Ngcobo will be there. You are a trainer.
I am a trainer, but I haven't applied and pulled out the license because at the moment I don't have horses.
Okay.
So I only got one, which is under trainer Tony Riverland at the moment.
So obviously you are wanting to grow that. You're obviously wanting to get more horses. You're wanting to get more owners, and it's a difficult thing. But after this podcast, there's no doubt when people learn more about you and how wonderful you are with horses, things could happen for you.
In actual fact, I was very happy, when you called me into the podcast. That's where I believe I'll get the exposure because that's what I need so that people can see that, okay, there's board now. And if they start, buying horses for me, then
You say you've just got the one horse under your care at the moment, under the Tony Riverland banner.
That's correct.
Tell us about this horse. How did you get the horse? And tell us a bit about this.
Funny enough, you asked this question because at one stage I was at Summerhill where I did my start management training there.
Right.
And one of the things that they asked us to do, or they taught us to do, is to launch the horses.
Okay.
The babies, the young babies. So there was one filly from Rip the Rewards. That filly I did train. That was my first one that I launched there at Summerhill, and I liked her so much in such a way that by the time now that I need to buy a horse, when I checked on the sale, that was last year's sale in November.
Yes.
I checked. Oh, here's Rip the Reward filly, and then somehow I do have, a good eye on Cape Town Noahs.
Right.
I know the one that Van Zyl trained and also the one that Mace trained. The one from Van Zyl, I can't remember the name, but with the one from Mace Robert was Enjoy the View. So somehow, because this horse was from Rip the Reward and also the sire was Cape Town Noah, I liked the horse. I couldn't go to the sale. Then I thought to myself, I said, hey God, I want this horse to come back. Somehow the horse came back. He wasn't bought because there was a reserve prize.
Not sold.
And that is how I ended up getting this horse.
So who was the breeder of that? Was it Summerhill?
No, it's now in Cornerstone in Joburg.
Okay, Cornerstone.
Yes,
okay.
yes.
So you bought the horse from Cornerstone.
I bought the horse through the sale because I did mention to him. He said, no, I need to via the sales. And then they told me, okay. They'll organize all paperwork. I was able to get the horse.
So Cornerstone bred it?
That's correct.
Okay, Cornerstone bred it. Okay, Anton Hook, absolutely. Okay, fantastic.
Yeah.
Now, you obviously know your pedigrees. I mean, you know the mares and you know the sires, and that's because I think training racehorses, you've got to be able to be familiar with just about everything, Bo.
That's correct. Yeah. In actual fact, when you see a horse win big races, that's where you start trying to follow the dams aside as well.
Yes.
Then I think it's obvious with the sires because they're just a few.
Now, sponsorship. Tell me who's backing you, who's sponsoring you at the moment.
All right. Maybe I might as well just combine this with how I get into racing.
Let's rewind a bit then. Let's put that question on ice then.
Okay.
And let's go back to how did you hear about horse racing?
The first time I heard about horse racing, I think I was around 6-7 years.
Sure.
I was staying with my grandfather, who was a punter.
Okay.
And I used to just send me to the shops to buy a newspaper. And I used to listen with him whenever there was racing. I didn't understand anything at the time. But when I got to grade 10, by that time, my grandfather was late and I was living with my parents at the time. So around grade 10, I wanted to be a jockey. But now when I checked around, there's no African that I know that can help me, get me there so that I can become a trainer. So I just let it go, and then I carried on with my studies, finished grade 12, studied chemical engineering, and then started working for NEMPEC company. And then while I was still working at NEMPEC, I saw one day on the newspaper, a black guy with horses, Bennett Bulana.
Oh, Bennett.
Yeah, and then...
What a wonderful man.
Yes. So there was his phone number there. Decided, let me give him a call. And then that's when I started coming here to Summerfield. That's when I knew about the place. And, steady but surely, he was just advising me to become a trainer. This is what you need to do and that. And then later on, I think I wanted to start this journey 2009. But I only... things started to look up around 2014 when I met a lady by the name of Hazel Kaya.
Okay, another good lady, yes.
Yeah, so we spoke with her, and then she advised me if I wanted to become a trainer, this is what I need to do and whatnot. And then 1st of March 2015, that's when I started with Tony Riverland.
Sure, that's a wonderful, wonderful story. That is really a wonderful story. And now that you're with Tony, you are his assistant trainer. He's also got Terry.
That's
He's
correct.
another passionate horseman. Tell us about your responsibilities there at Tony Riverland Racing. What is your daily duties? What are you responsible for?
All right, we just start from the morning. The most important thing is to check first if the horse is all right. That's when you can just catch up if something happened night before. And then what we'll do is we'll check the livings, check if the horses, even from checking from droppings, we can just tell what's going on with the horse.
Yes.
And also to manage the grooms. We need to manage the grooms and see if they are doing what they're supposed to do. Other than that, some of the jobs are with Terry. But the most important job that I do is to make sure the horse is all right. So if there's any scratch or anything with the horse, I'm the front line to make sure that the horse is all right.
Bo, just to explain to the public, you say checking leavings. Obviously, a horse is given its food in the manger in the evening.
Yes.
And then you come in the next morning to check the leavings. So the leavings is basically to say that you're checking if there's any leftovers.
That's correct, yeah. That's how we tell if the horse is all right and is feeling well, or is there anything that is bothering him. Because these are animals that they cannot talk, but through certain signs they talk to us. Then we read and say, okay, there's a problem. If a horse, we know the horse is a good eater, and then all of a sudden he leaves his food, then we know there's a problem. If the horse has been maybe working hard, and then we feel like he's under stress, that's where we know we need to back off. Then we check the terms and check if everything is all right with the horse.
So food is, the telltale signs on a daily basis. Food, looking at food.
Yes.
Temperature, you check the temperature.
That's correct. You check the temperature.
And then you're looking at the droppings. Obviously, if there's not a lot of droppings like there normally would be, there's a lot less, or it's a funny subject to talk about.
If it's soft, yes, or hard, then we know there might be a problem. Then we need to be cautious. Maybe there might be colic or something going on within the horse. So
if it's soft, what does that mean?
It's okay if it's soft, but if it's too soft, then there might be something going on in the stomach that that makes the horse to be like that. Yeah. Sometimes it's the feed that we feed. If you feed too much lucerne and ote, sometimes the droppings can go soft. So we know what to fed the horse. So when you look at the droppings, we check, okay, because we fed this, that maybe we need to back up from the lucerne or from ote.
If it's too hard?
If it's too hard, there might be colic involved in the stomach. So we need to be...
Because the compaction...
because of, sometimes when the horses eat, and then inside the stomach, you find out that he can't poo all of whatever they're supposed to be, because we check even at the amount. So if we don't have that big amount and also the droppings are dry, then it's a concern. Then we need to maybe start calling the vet to make sure that we drip the horse, not drip the horseman, drench the horse, just to make sure that he's nice, freely and loose. Because at the end of the day, if you have to work a horse that hard, but he's uncomfortable, then you won't get the results that we're looking for.
So it's true to say, often you hear people say that, sometimes, well, not sometimes, but most of all the time, to be a good trainer, you need to be able to have a good eye to watch these things. Sometimes they say you train with the eye. Is that right?
With an eye and also the instinct.
Okay.
You might be just walking past a certain box of a certain horse. You look at a horse and you'll find a trainer say, hey, this horse looks stressed. Because you can just see the demeanor that the horse is normally. His normal demeanor is not the same as you see on that day. And then that's when you need to be concerned and check the horse. Sometimes you'll end up just, let's walk the horse for today and then check how he is like.
Tawanda, it's the most amazing thing because, as Bo said, the horses can't talk, animals can't talk. But, if you're training a boxer or if you're training a soccer player, they'll be able to say, I don't want to train today, I've got a sore foot or I've got a headache, or they can tell you I'm feeling sick, I need some more food or less food. With the horses, I mean, it's and with any animals, training of any animals, it's a really difficult and specialized talent, isn't it?
That's correct, and it has to go with an instinct, definitely. You've got to have an instinct for these things.
I want to know, Bo, I mean, you said you studied chemical engineering.
That's correct.
That's a career that, that gives people opportunities to make a good life for themselves. Good house, good life, good money. What made you choose horse racing instead of going the chemical engineering route? I mean, my sister's a chemical engineer and she's well off,
Let me be honest. Firstly, I have to tell you, I have to take a salary cut of more than 75% to be in this industry. More than 75%. But, while I was at work, in most cases I used to think about horses. Not that I didn't do well as a chemical engineer. Started as an operator, and then I ended up being a shift process controller at NEMPEC here in Tissue Riverview. But still, there was still that thing in me. But, if you wake up every day, it doesn't feel like you're going to work. It's like it's more like it's a hobby. It's not, for me, I don't look at it as a career. It's more like a hobby for me.
And the way of life, though,
it's the way of life. I think it's the same with the owners. It's nice if you have an owner that is that relaxed, that you know what, it's a way of life. I'm not trying to make business out of this, but it's a way of life. I got to meet people, I got to socialize. So for me, it's like that. So that is why I decided, you know what, I don't want to work all my life. So if I'm with horses, it's just enjoying myself. It's not like it's work. I need to wake up to go to work. Yeah.
No, it's a good answer, and it's a good question, because it's hard to explain to people that passion and that, I use the word sickness because
that's true.
It's a sickness. We are victims for the sport. We love it.
More especially when it comes to horses, it's like, even Goss said the other day, it's like poison that goes into your system. Once you got it, you got it. And you know, that is how you even see the owners, if they will really enjoy this game, because there has to be that adrenaline. If he sees a horse, there's just the rush inside the system. So that's how we feel.
100% correct, and it's that way of life. It's that sickness. As I said, it's a good sickness.
It's good sickness. It makes us alive.
Absolutely, it's a passion that it's hard to explain to people.
And some people don't understand. I mean, like for like with me, my family members don't get it why I'm in horse racing. My friends even, my friends say, "Hey, Tony, you into the weirdest sports,
or wasting time or something."
You see what I'm saying? They say, on Sundays you're at the race course and all of that stuff. Even my family members, you know, my mom doesn't even understand it. So, how's your family sort of receiving the horse racing stuff? I'm sure some of them are thinking to themselves, "Is he mad? What's going on?"
You know what? My family, luckily my father said to us, in actual fact, we're a family of 4. I'm the eldest, and then I've got 2 sisters in between, and my brother's the last born. Sure. So my father said one thing to us. He said to us, "You know what? Get a diploma or the degree. And then after that, you do whatever you want. Even if you want to drive a taxi, you do that. But all I ask of you, get a diploma or a degree."
And did all the children obey the instructions?
All of us, yes. All of us either got a degree or a diploma. And, you know, when I started talking about racing, I could see it bothered him. But, you know, after like a year talking to him, I said, "Dad, I did what you asked me to do. I do have a diploma in chemical engineering. Yes, I'm working well, but this is what I want to do." Yeah. Then I ended up, but surely now they're starting to understand why I'm into this, because I don't think I'm in here for myself only. I think there are some people that will benefit from this. People, as I've mentioned, that, you know, at one stage I wanted to be a jock, but I couldn't, because there are not many people of color in this game. So if they see me, it will be easy for them to approach me. I'm not saying they cannot approach, you know, other races, but it will be much easier to say, "Baba, can you please help me out, because I want to get into this."
Sure. And Bo, with regards to working at the Tony Riverland stables,
yes,
what's it like working with Tony? Because he's a man that knows a lot, and he does a lot for racing.
He is more like a Google, because you ask him one question, he will spend 5 to 10 minutes trying to explain. So if you've got 5 questions for today, you can only ask 2. Then the following day, you can ask another 3. But the good thing with Tony, he loves horses. You know, he's passionate about it. Sometimes, you know, when I first came in here, I thought this man was mad, because, you know, a little scratch, he'll go out of his way and say, "Hey guys, this is," you know. But anyway, now since I've learned from him, I've stayed so long with him, now I do understand why he is so particular on how you do things. Yes. And I remember the first time when I got here, he said, there is a right way of doing things and the wrong way, so it cannot be in between. So that's when I learned, you know, a lot of stuff. But also, Tony is a busy man. He's got a lot of things to do. So
how does
if
he
he
train?
says, "Hey,"
how does he train? As he's such a busy man, like you said, he's always at the clubhouse, at the office, hardly at the tracks.
Early mornings, maybe. I think his first port of call must be down there in the morning.
Yeah, it's just that I think the fact that he's got a very good memory, I think that's the one advantage, you know, for him, because he knows exactly what's going on the tracks. He knows even each horse, what did that horse did on Monday. So since he's got that good memory, it makes it easy for him. When he goes to the track, he knows what to do with the horses. Quick, and then after that, whilst we are at the track, whilst we're there training, maybe somebody would say there's a problem with a tractor or something. He'll call someone, do this, do that. I think the other advantage that he's got is very much knowledgeable. So the moment there's a problem, he normally just fix it same time. Although he's quite hype, it's like he's always having caffeine in his system. You can see it the way he talks. Yeah.
It's incredible how he manages so many. He wears so many hats, and he manages all of them very, very well.
That's true.
It's incredible how he does that. And it fascinates me.
It certainly does. And you're talking about the training too, is that yes, he comes down to the track, but he's also, you've got to have a good team with you. And I think in the fact that he's got Bo and he's got Terry is a big backup for him as well.
Yeah, 100%. He probably has to have to be very disciplined to do what he does. Does he pooza? Does he sometimes, wake up on a Monday with a babalas?
I won't say he does, because I've never seen him drunk. But, the good thing is he's very much disciplined. So every time at work, I've never seen any, signs of maybe he's been poozering or what. And it's very particular. He sees everything. Even the grooms normally says that he can just walk past the box. Just walk past the box, he will know exactly what's going on. So that keeps us on our toes as well, in such a way that it has become our habit to make sure that we check horses like he does.
What do you think makes him the way he is and so able to do so many things? Because I would love to be like him, I don't lie. I would love to be able to do, let alone 3 jobs, 2 jobs. Do you know what I mean? And do them all at a rate of at least 75% effort in each of them.
Although
what do you think it is with him?
I think he's very particular in how things are done, as I've mentioned to you. There's a right way and a wrong way. There's nothing in between. So the good thing about him also is that if there's a problem, he will say at the same time, this is a problem, fix it.
Yeah.
And if you don't fix it, then hell is coming your way.
You'd rather fix it.
You'd rather fix it. So now we've learned that if he says this, same time you fix it. Even the grooms know. They know how his style is. And it's not that he jokes around with the grooms. He does whatever, he's got that humor in him. But if you go the wrong side, then...
Does he fire you?
Sorry?
Does he fire people? Or does he just shout?
In most cases, he will just shout. They know, even the grooms know. If he's not happy, he will tell you. He's not very quick to say, let's fire this or what.
Yes.
Yeah, he will punish him or if he does something wrong, but he's not, because he likes to keep his team. His team is quite good, so he likes to keep his team, so he makes sure that he disciplines if someone is doing something wrong.
Just going back to your journey, Bo.
Yes.
Listening to your wonderful story and seeing how, with your family and with your dad wanting you and all your brothers and sisters to study, etc. If you look at your situation now, yes, you've got a job, you're working as an assistant, you are a licensed trainer, although you've passed the test, you haven't taken your license out as such, but you are licensed. If you want to go and take your license out now, you can.
Yes.
You must be quite excited and quite proud of the journey, because it's a long journey and you're well on your way. And for me, I can't help but get that excited feeling.
Yeah, for me it doesn't.
Maybe too, sorry, nerve-wracking sometimes too.
For me, it doesn't look like it's a long journey. I've heard people talking up to me and saying, "Hey, I wish you well because you've been long." It doesn't feel like that.
Okay.
Although there were many regrets now and again, and I'm thinking, I'm still stuck. I should be here by now. I should be doing this by now, but. Every time when I go back to the yard and start working with horses, you just forget about everything. I promise you just forget. And to see a horse improving from when he first came and he's got so many challenges, you just forget about everything. Yes. I promise sometimes I'll have, nyaga nyaga with my wife and then I go to work. By the time I go back home, I even forgot of what happened. So there are a lot of challenges in this game, I must say, but for me, for that maybe 1 hour whilst I'm thinking about it, yes, I'll have a problem. But a few minutes later, maybe I start working with horses or thinking about them, then I forget all about that.
Well, I'm very excited to follow your career and to follow your life, because I think it's a wonderful story, and I think the fact that you're determined to make it succeed, which no doubt you will, I find it very exciting.
Thank you so much for it. Yeah.
Let's talk about, you mentioned challenges in racing. Of course, with challenges in life, I mean, there's challenges in life, challenges in racing, challenges in any job that you do, whether you're a doctor, a pilot, or whatever it is. But what challenges do you face sometimes?
Oh, you mean in this racing industry?
Yes.
All right. I'll just say it, because I am of color. I think that's a greatest challenge, because I know people, like Africans, they're not a lot of them in this game. I would like to see them getting more into the game, because they also got kids that might want to be a jockey one day. So for me, I would say I would like to see more color.
Right.
I wouldn't say my challenge was maybe with other trainers or whoever. Most of the trainers, they embrace me so well.
Yes.
Even if I need advice from them, they will just, give me those advice without any hesitation. I even asked if I could just work with Peter Muscat for a while. I even work with Nathan. When I asked them, they just embraced me, and it has been so much. I don't know how hard.
Yes.
I can't explain the way they've embraced me. But also, I think the main challenge is getting the owners. I'm not saying other races won't be able to help me, because at the moment the horse that I've got is from Dr. Pandey, who has been my friend for quite some time. Not only him, her wife as well as her son. So they are a partnership in this horse.
Okay.
So for me, I would say I would like to see more transformation going on from Africans, and then from whatever we're doing in this game.
Owners, it's you talk to a lot of people, a lot of trainers, a lot of racing people, and it's to get new owners involved. And we always go to the basket of owners that we've already got.
Yes.
But we need to go to outside that basket, and I know that the operators are trying their best, but it's so hard to market a sport. To wonder, maybe you'll agree with me or disagree with me. It's hard to market a sport to people that might not be interested in that sport. How do you get them interested? It's like if somebody comes to me and says they're selling season tickets for the rugby game, and I don't know anything about rugby, and I'm not really interested in rugby. How do you get me to be interested in rugby?
I think that's very interesting what you're saying. I think we need to get more people exposed to this.
Yes.
I think even for the first timers, first time owners, maybe to go for a syndicate, get into this, they understand it's not all about racing.
Yeah.
It's about socializing, meeting other people. And, even for some businessmen, they get to meet others, because there are a lot of businessmen that are owners in this game.
Yes.
So that's how they can meet and then, carry on. It's not only about just racing horses. There's a lot going on in here.
Do you know what I think, Warren?
Absolutely.
I think we need to educate people about the sport, the competitiveness of the sport, the drama, the politics. Do you know what I mean? The excitement, the action, the characters in the sport. If you look at what Drive to Survive did, I don't know if you do know Drive to Survive, Bo. The Formula One series on Netflix. Have you seen it?
No, I haven't.
Oh my goodness! I only watch horse racing on
TV. Oh my goodness!
Nothing else.
You should see that. You should watch it. It will convert you into a Formula One fan. It's that one.
So what you're saying?
It's for me. I think a show like that is a case study for a lot of industries, especially in sports, because what they did with that show, they were trying to convert Americans into Formula One fans, and America being such a huge continent, North America, you can make a lot of money as a business just by having your business operate there. So it worked in their favor. People are getting converted into Formula One fans, and that show there is exciting. It's interesting. It's educational while you're getting entertained, because you're seeing the drama and you're seeing all of that stuff. I think if we can excite people about the sport in something like that, especially young people, using the tools that we have, using the social medias, the Netflixes, and everything like that. That's what I think.
Absolutely, no, it's a good point. It certainly is a good point. Okay, so owners, What are your goals then now? If I say to you, right, what do you want to achieve in the near future? What are your goals? A couple of goals you can share with us.
All right. Yeah, I think firstly is to own horses, start training, and also the exposure. That's one of my goals, exposure. Yes. Because now you just mentioned that we've got this group of owners that are already in. Now we need to try and get some more into the game, and that way we will develop the game. For me, one of the goals is to go for even students that are at the universities, to try and be part of this. By making them part of this, we get something that's exciting to them, so that they'll be able to come to the race course. And then, we do need a lot of people that will come into the race course and buy into the game, because some people, they'll think you need to have a lot of money to own a racehorse. If you can get into the syndicate, you pay a certain amount, and you're having fun when your horse race, or you can hook up even more guys to come into the race course. So my goal is to get as many people as involved in this game, and get the youngsters to be part of this, because as a youngster, I could have been in the game a long time ago.
Yes.
But because I couldn't even get close to a horse or even touch a horse, at the time. So that's why, I ended up had to come in very late. So if you can even get the youngsters, even from the high schools, to be part of this, to expose them into the game, that will be very good.
Bo, you've ridden, do you ride work?
No, I don't do ride, but I do ride the horses
You've ridden
myself.
a horse before?
No, I do ride from time to time, because I came from the rural horse racing. Okay. So the triplers that go Dundee, and I used to do that a lot.
You get on a horse's back and do some work or whatever, no problem with that?
No problem to walk him, but I've never been. Oh, you know what? At Summerhill, I used to canter horses. Okay. But here, I don't know what happened. I never tried this one. So
Where were you born, Where were you born?
I was born in Pietermaritzburg at the place called Wampumuza. Okay. And then we relocated until the folks are in Hilton now. Okay. Yeah.
Tell us about some of the horses that you've worked with, that you've been with, some of the good horses that you...
Okay, let me start. There was one at Nathan, Caden's Pride, that ended up being sold to Mauritius.
Right.
I worked with that horse. I think he sold him just after he turned 3. Okay. He was that good. And by Tony, I remember the horse named Humidor.
Humidor, yes.
Big horse, a sprinter. And also Diamond King. I think you'll remember that horse as well. Those were like good horses that I worked with. And by Peter, I did work with Ultra Magnus.
Okay.
Quite a good horse, chilled, but he used to run a lot. That was good.
You must have also had some very good jockeys in your presence over the years. Have you got some favorites, or have you got some champions that you can remember?
I know one, Lyle Hilton. When he was an apprentice, he did a lot of rode for us at Tony Riverland a lot. And he was still a youngster, but you could see with him, he always had a good mind if the horse will be a good horse, whilst he was still an apprentice. Okay. So he had that instinct. So I worked with that Lyle Hudson. Yeah.
And from the old days, Bo, I mean, the Jeff Lloyd days and all those years.
At the time, I wasn't involved in racing. But I wasn't that much involved. Yes. Although I used to... maybe look at the TV. One thing I used to do when I see a horse just taking a canter into the pens, yes, I would, out of the blue, when I go past the tote and say, what, I like this horse. Luckily, in most cases, the horse will win or place. So that's how I felt like I've got the instinct for this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you enjoy, on the odd occasion, do you like having a little bet? Do you take a PA? Are you a betting man?
I do, but not always.
Not always.
I like to take horses that I know in most cases,
Sure.
Yeah, the horses that we train in the yard, then I know, okay, the horse looks well, looks like he can win, in such a way that I'll tell a story the other maybe one day, because at one stage I want some money that helped me to build the house that I've got.
Okay,
so
wonderful.
So
Okay.
yeah, I do punt now and again, but not always.
Not always. And you've been fairly successful then. If you were able to build a house with your winnings, you have been fairly successful.
Yeah, not to build the whole house, but the blocks for that house.
Yes.
that money came from punting. I promise.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's fantastic. Oh, that's
Yeah.
good. Sponsorship. Let's talk about sponsorship because you've got people behind you.
At the moment, okay, I've got Gold Circle. That is the one that he actually hired me to be under Tony Riverland as my mentor into becoming a trainer. So those are the first guys in line. And once I have my own yard, they will help me, with feeding and paying for, rent, few things just to keep me going.
Sure.
But my worry at the moment is I need to get horses. And I hope even Hollywood might give me 2 or 4 horses. That's what I'm looking at. That's one thing that I pray that they will look at me as well, because if they really true about transformation, I think they might give me a chance as well.
Absolutely, it's about the chances. I said getting the chances and getting the horses, and it's a fantastic, Bo, to hear your story. It really is. And talking of Tony, he's just walked in. It's lovely to see Tony. Always, Tony and Terry love a Thursday when we're doing our podcast.
Oh, is it just to go pass by?
To come and see us and see who we're interviewing and have a cup of coffee with us, and it's lovely. Well, to wonder, I mean, it's
Yeah,
I've exhausted my thoughts.
I've got a few questions,
Warren.
Warren.
Please, you take over and talk to us.
Bo, I'd like to know, who do you look up to in life in general, whether it's in horse racing or outside of horse racing?
There are a few people that I look up to. But one in particular, I would call the guy Sadhguru.
Sadhguru.
That's correct.
Okay.
I'm not sure if you heard of such a guy.
I know
He's
him.
an elderly guy. He teaches life in a way that you won't believe. He's general. He's an all-rounder. Even when you are stressed, whoever, you just check Google Sadhguru. I promise you, he always have an answer. Even if you can put down that this is what's stressing you, maybe somewhere he spoke about that. And, I really admire the guy. It's just that with him, it's not about if you come from a certain religion or you come from a certain race. If you're a human being, you've got your own thoughts, you've got your own way of thinking. Because I know even in South Africa, we still look at the color and say, because this one is white or because this one is black, that is why. We need to be general. Every human being has got his way of thinking. It's just that if you look up to people like Sadhguru, they are the people who tries and make sure, that you think the right way. You don't poison yourself, because I think the problem that we have, we poison ourselves. Let's say if I've got a grudge with Utawanda, every time I look at him, I drink poison.
Yes.
And it's a reality. Now I need to change facial expression and do all that. That's why I look up to the guy, because, he has helped me with a lot of challenges that I had in life.
Speaking about grudges, what my father always says? He says, you can't drink poison and expect someone else to die.
That's correct. That's correct.
You can't drink poison and expect someone else to die.
Yeah.
That's what holding a grudge.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Does to you,
Does to you.
it kills you, but
absolutely.
but you're hoping the other one dies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when you were growing up, who did you look up to when you were young?
When I was young, it was Minister Louis Farrakhan.
Revolutionary, that
He's
guy.
a Muslim, but during the times whereby, I wasn't sure of who am I, and when I was losing confidence, he's the guy that helped you to have confidence about yourself. I really wish everyone can have that confidence in themselves, because it starts with you. If you tell yourself you are like this, you are like that. We are creators. We create ourselves to become who we are.
Yeah.
And that's how he helped me.
Sure. And what type of person? Who was Bo in high school? If
Good question. Tell us about high school. Were you naughty? Were you well behaved? Were you the teacher's pet?
I come from a Christian background.
Okay.
But grade what they call it these days, standard 6, grade 8. I had to go to a boarding school at Adams College.
Okay.
I was very excited to be there, but the thing is, you get in all kind of stuff. Firstly, I was an athlete,
Okay.
You couldn't touch me. Even you're so tall, Warren. You wouldn't touch me sprinting events, starting from 100 meters to 800 meters.
Sure.
I was that good. But also, I was quite a dancer. No, I dance once in a while now, but it's not like I still got the moves that I used to have back in the days. But, I was that kind of guy, and nothing much. I was an athlete and a dancer. I used to have,
So you were a good student. You were fairly well behaved, you could say.
Fairly well behaved and a good student, because, with mathematics, there are a few guys that can touch me with that.
But you can see that you're a fit guy, you can see that you were an athlete, you were sporty.
Yeah, just that there's a chicken graveyard a little bit that's coming, but, I used to train a lot while I was there, yeah. Even at Mangosuthu, I had to do a bit of bodybuilding, Yeah.
How old are you, Bo?
46.
She said,
46,
okay,
yeah.
46.
It's young.
That's young, of course it's young, 46.
For you.
I'm 43, you're 46, how old are you?
I'm 25. Can I ask you guys a question? Do you feel 46?
I don't. If you'll see me with my boys, you won't believe it, because I like to have fun with them. My firstborn is 24, second is 18.
Wow.
But if I'm around them, it's more like I'm with my brothers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel the same way. I don't feel 43 at all. Thank God we don't. We're healthy and we're fit. But I don't feel 43.
Why do you think that is, Warren? Do you think it's because
I think that's because I'm a bit of a joker. A little bit of a joker. I've got a good personality, good sense of humour. I like to make jokes, and that helps. I think to be humorous and to be good with people.
Yeah, but I think also positivity is being positive about life.
Absolutely.
Because now if you start saying, I've got another year, and then I'm getting old, I still need to do this. But if you're just happy and I think it makes life easy.
As I said, play jokes, and you're humorous, you're laughing all the time.
But I've noticed most people around horses, they don't age up too quickly. I have to be honest, because they normally joke around a lot, and as we have mentioned, you feel young. You always feel young.
Paul Lafferty, he's got a positive outlook. He's got a good sense of humour.
Even Mike Miller, if you park with Mike Miller, you'll be surprised. Every morning they joke around with Tony like they're still youngsters. I think that's what makes you feel still young.
Absolutely.
I read an article once. Sorry to cut you off, Warren. I read an article once that said that like 60 to 100 years ago, a 46-year-old from back then is actually older than a 46-year-old of today.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah,
I think maybe also because they were working harder than we're working now. With the wars, the economy was hard. The food was, I don't know, maybe. Do you know what I mean? So it's crazy how back then, for myself being 25, a 25-year-old from 100 years ago looked like he was 30. And they were getting married early, those guys as well.
Yeah, I think I'll speak from my culture, the moment you get married, they used to get married at an earlier stage. You're 100% right. So once you get married, there's a way you don't sit with the boys anymore. You only sit with married men.
Yes.
It's still like that in our culture, unless now if you go to the locations or to the suburb, it's no longer like that. So now you've got to behave in a certain way.
Yes.
Because now you have to study with the old guys and the 50s and the 60s. You start behaving like them. But in our days, you still find an old man dancing like he's 16.
I also think that it's about who you surround yourself with.
That's correct.
I've got a mixture of friends and family that I socialize with. I've got friends that are as old as 80. I've got friends and family that I socialize with that are as young as 19 and 25 and 33 and 70, so that also.
And there's no barrier, you just mix
absolutely not, absolutely not, So I think that's one of the reasons, and many reasons why, as you say, when you ask us that question, we don't feel 43 because, it's we're not sitting moaning and groaning and
But maybe also we are lucky that we are in this game.
Yes.
If you are passionate about this game, it doesn't feel like you really working. It's like you just feel like waking up and do what you like to do, like a child.
100% correct.
Going back to racing, how was the disappointment of Comedy Ding? Did you fancy Comedy Ding?
Can I answer first?
Go for it.
I did fancy Comedy Ding. I wasn't really disappointed because it was probably my fault over the distance. You know, it was his first run on the Haarveld over a distance short of his best. So it was probably my fault expecting too much.
Yeah.
I mean, they're horses at the end of the day. They're not robots and they're not unbeatable machines.
Yes.
And Comedy Ding's in Joburg for a reason. You know, there's an end goal, as the Met was the end goal.
Yeah.
So I think at the end of the month, over 2,000 metres on Champions Day, if he doesn't win then I'll be disappointed. So to answer your question, I was a little disappointed because I expected too much from him.
Yeah.
When he probably wasn't ready.
I
It
understand,
wasn't his
yeah.
ultimate goal. But good run, and I think he's going to be hard to beat at the end of the month.
So you reckon that this is all part of his prep plan?
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Like the Met, you know, the Queen's Plate into the Met. It was an excellent run into the Queen's Plate. They didn't want him 100%.
They were just
Queen's
tuning
Plate.
him
They
up
were tuning
just
him
for
up
that.
to
Yeah,
the Met, you know?
yeah,
And I
yeah.
think that race last weekend was a tune-up into the big race at the end of the month.
Soon after this race, we'll be going for the July very soon.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
you don't want to take out everything from the horse, but you
Correct.
just want to keep his mind focused, you know, for that
Yeah.
ultimate goal.
100%. And also, I mean, it's we must mention that, you know, the horses are trying their best, but it's about levels of fitness, etc. Comedy Ding was beautifully ridden by Gavin, trying his best, but it's a journey onto the big
Races, yeah.
That's
Maybe whilst on that question, what do you think about Linebacker?
I love Linebacker to bits. He's a gorgeous horse and he's done me so well, but yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing him run here in KwaZulu-Natal. I
Yeah,
really
because
am.
for me, I'm looking at him and as well as Gomidi Deng, because I noticed in that run at the Met, I think he was unlucky in that run because he had to go, coming onto the straight, he had to go outside and also now meet up with Gomidi Deng.
Yes.
And, you know, but for me, those are the two horses I'm looking at, to be very honest.
From Eddie Ding and Linebacker. Now, just before we wrap, to talk about preparation for races, is if you're going to run the Comrades, you know, I want to explain the point that if you're going to run the Comrades, and 8 weeks before the Comrades, you're training with the Comrades as your final goal.
That's correct.
I'm not a runner, so I don't know what the distance of the Comrades is. Call it, do you know what the distance of the Comrades
About
is?
80 something?
Yeah,
If I'm
80,
not
so 86
80
kilometers.
Call it
Seven.
80 kilometers.
Okay, yeah.
Now, in the 5 weeks before the Comrades, each week, you're not going to run 80 kilometers,
Never.
80 kilometers, 80 kilometers to prep yourself for the Comrades. You know, that's how to explain it when a horse
You just
is
put
prepping for a
mileage.
big
You
race.
put mileage in onto
Correct.
the muscles, but bit by bit. Maybe for the Comrade, as you have mentioned, maybe 15 k's there, 20 k's there. You know, you're just putting mileage into the
Correct.
muscles, so that by
Building
that time,
up to the Comrades, which
That's
you're going to
correct.
do the whole 80. That's why, you know, is for these big races.
yes,
That's why it's nice to follow these horses in their build up to these big races. You know. So I'm voiced out, as you can hear.
Yeah, no,
I'm voiced out.
I can hear you. I think it would be an amiss not to talk about MK's Pride. Was it MK's Pride?
What a horse, MK's Pride, yeah. MK's Pride for Koos and Kale and Paul Peter. And the moment MK's Pride went past the line in that Group 1, I phoned Paul.
yeah.
And I said, if there ever is an owner, there ever is a horse that deserves a Group 1, it was Koos and Kale and MK's Pride. It was so good to see.
Such passion from them, eh?
His speeches are beautiful. You must have heard Mr. Nkali speak on the TV.
Yes.
I mean, his passion, his love for everything is just wonderful.
So these owners, are they really? It means looks like they are really good owners, because I remember even Dean Kaname the one day asked, just give me one tip, because one day I want to be a trainer.
Yes.
He said to me, first show me good owners, then show me a good horse, in that order.
Yeah.
You know, if you've got a good owner, you know, you can train, he can leave training to you. He
Yes.
can make suggestions, but leave training to you.
Absolutely.
So, you know, that combination normally works.
I always ask people, when you go to the dentist,
Yes.
if you've got a sore tooth, do you tell the dentist how to pull your tooth out?
Never.
You just say,
Never.
doctor, I've got a sore tooth here, carry on. So when you've got a trainer training your horses, you say, there's my horse, crack on.
Yes,
You know,
yes.
that's how it should be. Or if you go to you want to go and have a cake made for your children's birthday party, and you go to a baker,
Yes.
you know, you say, I want a chocolate cake with duck on top of it. You don't go to say,
But
I
you know,
want to put
step
one
by
cup
step,
of
no.
flour, 2 cups of sugar, add this, you know, you give it to the baker to do. So trainers should
Because
do
they
the
are
same.
expected.
You're allowed to, as you say, make comments, make suggestions,
Yes,
discuss, have a relationship. But at the end of the day, the trainer's the trainer. The dentist is the dentist. The baker is the baker.
That's
surely.
correct. That's correct.
You agree with me, Tawanda?
Fully agree.
Bo?
Yo,
Thank you very much. We could
I was
sit
so
and talk.
nervous. I was
Nervous?
so nervous.
Why are you nervous? What do you want to be nervous
You know,
for?
initially, but at least you guys are incredible, you know, because
Don't be silly.
feel
No,
it.
it's the
Yeah.
podcasters of us. I love my Thursdays. I love meeting. Well, not meeting. I've known you for a long time, but I love
Yeah.
learning more about you and all our guests. And it's just absolutely wonderful. But my voice, for some reason, is
it's gone now.
gone now. So I'll have to go home and have some honey
And ginger.
And ginger.
Boil the ginger, put some honey.
Okay, that'll be perfect.
Yeah.
But thanks for your time, and we wish you really all the very best. And I want you to please, I will hold thumbs and pray that in a couple of days' time, after this podcast has been aired, you phone me and you say,
There'll be
"Warren,"
progress because after this
you
podcast,
say,
something
"Warren, can you
happened.
believe it? So and so's contacted me, and they're interested in my career."
And I believe so. I believe it will happen. You know, the belief is the most amazing thing because if you just stay on that, you create something in the universe.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Your attitude is good. Your whole sitting next to you, it just gives me a wonderful feeling. And I wish you all the best, Bo.
Thank you so much, Warren.
Tawanda, lovely to have you as well. Thank you very much. From all of us here at In the Box Seat, it's been absolutely wonderful. We'll see you as always in the number 1 box when my voice is not so croaky.